Hey everyone, what's up? And yo, we have a lot to discuss today. They were not playing when they said that we were going to get a lot of Sonic Frontiers footage today from IGN, both IGN of America and Japan. So I got a lot of that stuff to cover, and yeah, a lot of gameplay from Ares Island, Chaos Island, and yo, I think Chaos Island is going to be my favorite island yet in the game, and some new cyberspace stages. But before I get to all of that, be sure to smash the like button, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's see if we can get to 100k subs before the year is out. Alright, so first and foremost, Sonic Frontiers has gone gold. I know all of you guys already know that. Kishimoto has officially announced that Sonic Frontiers has officially wrapped up. After 5 years of working on that game, like wow, I don't think there's been a Sonic game that's been worked on that long. So this game should definitely be the most polished Sonic game yet. And yeah, I hope they fix the physics of the cyberspace stages. I'm really praying, because a lot of the levels do look fun since they borrow level themes and layouts from other previous games. So I'm just worried about the physics. I hope, like when Sonic quick steps, I hope button is not janky and it's like a dodge button. Just please fix those minor things. And the open world is looking fantastic too. So yeah, this has to be the most hyped I've been for a 3D Sonic game since Generations, like hands down. I have not been this hyped for Forces, Lost World, Boom Rise of Lyric, of course, none of that. Around this time, 5 years ago, I was already skeptical. I already knew Forces was going to be garbage, especially from that terrible 60-second demo. So I was already bracing myself for a mediocre game. But Frontiers, the more I see, the more excited I am, which is unlike a 3D Sonic game. Now, we got lots of footage to cover. I think I'm going to actually post some footage of Ares gameplay and Chaos Island gameplay at the end of the video. No commentary for those of you who want to watch it. So I think I'm going to put that in this video, and there will be timestamps for it. But yeah, first and foremost, I want to talk about someone who actually met with the SEGA rep, SEGA of Europe, and he wanted to talk to me about some spoilers. He said I got some things wrong in my previous video where I talked about those 4chan leaks. I was like, sure, be sure to debunk everything for me and let me know in Discord. So he did. He told me not to reveal his name, obviously, but he told me some minor things, just some corrections. Let me see if I can find it here. Now, this is a minor spoiler alert. He says, so Sage is working to break Eggman out of cyberspace. So Sage is actively working to try and rescue Eggman. So it's like, okay, so Dr. Eggman and Sage aren't going to be enemies in this game. I mean, Dr. Eggman does try to use Sage tech that he built in the beginning of the game to try and hack into the AI. I don't know what correlation Sage, the girl, has with Eggman, or if she's Eggman's creation, or she's always been there in Starfall Islands. We'll find out. Now, Tails is Island 3. I think we all figured that out. Knuckles is going to be in the Desert Island, Ares Island. Tails is going to be in the Lava Volcano Island, Chaos Island. You can even see in these pictures here. So it's going to be a Ghost Knuckles and a Ghost Tails. I'm glad we're finally seeing more Tails because, since Sega didn't want to spoil Frontiers in the beginning, we just saw a lot of Amy. And that's why, a lot of people were starting the whole Sonic Rose theories and Sonic Rose leaks. That was actually like a code name for Sonic Frontiers earlier, before even Sonic Rangers. It was because much of the beginning of the game is Amy, Rose, and Sonic. This is the most focus Amy has gotten in the game since like forever. So that's why they call this Sonic Rose. It has nothing to do with Tsunami or any of that. I mean, you can always try and force Tsunami moments or put that in your headcanon, but the reason why the codename was Sonic Rose for a lot of leakers was because there was a lot of Amy in the beginning of the game. But yeah, I'm glad to know that there's Knuckles and Tails in the following islands. I wonder what's going to be in the 4th and 5th island. The guy told me, and this guy, like, he met with one of the Sega reps in the EGX demo over in the UK. So he told me some things. Now, he said the 4th island has to be the Snowy Island. He's not 100% sure because they wouldn't tell him, but he's pretty positive it is a snow island. And I asked him, okay, what is the 5th island? Is that going to be a city and industrial level? He said he doesn't know, but it's definitely going to be a cyberspace themed island. He's willing to bet it's going to be a cyberspace type of island. I don't know what he means by that, if that's going to be a bunch of Sonic's memories in one island, or if it's going to be actual cyberspace the island. We'll find out. Now he says Super Sonic has a new death animation too. So it's like, okay, so he has new death animation. You know, when he loses his Chaos Emeralds, then he dies. It's going to be something more unique to Supersonic when he dies in Frontiers. And he says Infinite is referenced by Tails, but so far no appearance. He's only referenced from a character development standpoint from Tails. Tails basically hated being useless against him. That was the reference. So I was like, okay, it's no surprise to me that Forces is going to be referenced in Frontiers. Every modern Sonic game has referenced previous Sonic games. So Tails referencing Infinite, especially when describing, you know, the glitchy effect with Sage and all that, it makes sense, you know, especially how Tails was a bitch boy in Forces. So Tails, you know, mentioning how much of a pussy he was versus Infinite in the previous game, like, that's cool. That shows character development for Tails. But like I said before, I do not believe that Sonic Forces is going to play a huge part in Frontiers. Frontiers isn't the sequel to Forces. It's just going to be referenced. And that's about it. That's all he told me. It wasn't much, but we already got enough information to cover as it is. Now the IGN segments. Now I watched everything, both the Japanese content and the American content. Now the fact that IGN is using the same guy that previewed Sonic Frontiers back in May, using him again in October for the most recent preview, and he's also going to be reviewing Sonic Frontiers, that shows growth. That means IGN is actually learning and taking criticism. I like it that they're using the same person who previewed Sonic Frontiers to also review the game, because it got on my nerves how they were using different people for previous Sonic games, so the reviews were never consistent. Take Sonic Lost World for example, and I actually made this funny video about it back in 2013.
We've played it and spoken to its director Takashi Iizuka and come away impressed. You've probably picked up on this by now, but Sonic Lost World looks amazing. This isn't the first HD Sonic, but if you ask me, it's definitely the best looking one. It's classic Blue Skies Sega.
Sonic Lost World does not, making the Blue Blur's latest outing a clumsy, ungainly 3D platformer that doesn't do Sega's mascot justice. This is a big disappointment for Sega's speeding Blue Bullet.
So yeah, you see, they had a female preview Sonic Lost World before, and she was very positive about Lost World, saying that it looks amazing and everything. Then they pulled someone else who wasn't even a big Sonic fan to review Lost World, and he gave it like a 5.8 out of 10. He didn't like it at all. And it was like, okay, look, I wasn't expecting Lost World to get an 8 or 9 out of 10. I think that game is very mediocre. It's like a 6 out of 10 at best for me, or 6.5. But like, at least use the same person who previewed it to review it to make it consistent. They did the same thing with Sonic Mania. They had someone else review both Sonic Mania and Sonic Mania Plus. So the Sonic Mania review was much more positive than Sonic Mania Plus. The guy who reviewed Sonic Mania Plus didn't even so much like Sonic. He found it too hard. He said it was way too difficult, like Dark Souls and shit, and gave it a slightly lower grade. I think he gave Mania Plus a 7 out of 10. Whereas Mania was like almost a 9 out of 10. I think they gave like an 8.8 or an 8.9. You know, IGN with their weird decimals when they rank something or review something. It's like, why don't you just give it a 9? What the hell is an 8.9? But anyway, so yeah, and I remember, yes, that was an IGN. That was actually another one. That was Game Revolution. Yeah, I actually pissed off that guy so much, he actually wrote an article about me and Premi. I think I still have it, but I made a video about that because he was pissed off that I criticized their crappy ass game company for not being consistent with their reviews. So I'm glad IGN is learning from that. They've been learning from that since Sonic Mania and even Sonic Forces. So I like it that they're using the same guy who's been previewing Sonic Frontiers. So his video was very informative, very consistent. I actually agree with a lot of the criticisms he had for Sonic Frontiers. Like, we'll get to those later, but yeah, like I said before, Chaos Island looks like it's going to be my favorite island yet. Out of the 3 islands we've seen. Lots of platforming in this island, lots of hazards too, like you actually can't fall in the lava obviously because that will hurt or maybe even insta-kill Sonic. Whereas Kronos Island, there wasn't really any hazards there, like besides the enemies, there weren't any like level hazards besides the ocean obviously, and then even Ares Island because it's a desert. But Chaos Island, you got the lava and everything, and the islands are very segmented. So you have to like jump on this white flying creature, you know, and then use it to traverse through the segmented islands. I like that. It's a very hazardous island. So I appreciate that. It's definitely going to be very engaging. I think this is when the difficulty starts spiking up, as I've heard, for Sonic Frontiers. And also, if you notice, Sonic has an idle animation, a new idle animation for Chaos Island. He holds his head like he has a headache. So is he infected? I have heard from leaks that Sonic gets more infected as you go on in the islands. Even in the spoiler video I made last week, it shows that Sonic gets more infected as he goes on. So the fact that he's holding his head a lot in Chaos Island means that he's getting infected, or his arm, whatever, that glitchiness, it's getting to him. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I love it that Sonic actually has idle animations now, because that's what made Forces so lifeless. Now, the cyberspace levels. IGN basically said that the best levels, or the best level themes in cyberspace, are the ones from the adventure games. My favorite being Green Forest. Like, Green Forest is obviously in Green Hill, but I saw that level design and I was like, you can't fool me. Green Forest, City Escape, and Metal Harbor are my 3 favorite levels in Sonic Adventure 2. So I know Green Forest when I see it. I loved it. It's like, yo, and they said that those type of levels are actually the longest one. I think that one clocked in around 2 to 3 minutes. So that's nice. That means the adventure theme levels are the longer levels, whereas the boost levels are shorter, up to 1 minute. Now, they did have criticisms for the cyberspace stages. The guy who previewed it said that there were only variations of 4 level themes in all the cyberspace stages he played. Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, and the city level. That's pretty disappointing, you know, very annoying too, because I saw a lot more level themes using those same assets, and I was like, wait a minute. I thought each level, like Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, and so on, were going to have like 3 acts. Like random acts spread out through, you know, the stages. But the fact that I was seeing 4, 5 different Green Hill zones and even Chemical Plant, it's like, yo, are these the only level themes that Kishimoto's going to use for the entirety of Frontiers? Like, come on, man. Well, what happened to at least Rooftop Run or Seaside Hill or even any of the level themes from Generations? I hope that was just cap, what the IGN guy was saying. I hope we get more level themes from the other stages. Like, I mean, come on. Generations had at least 9 stages. Like, how the hell we're only getting 4? Like, okay, sure, I like the level design layouts because a lot of them are ripped off from previous games. But like, for instance, the Green Forest theme level in a Green Hill zone, why couldn't you just simply change Green Hill to Green Forest? I'm sure it's not that hard to literally make Green Hill look more like Green Forest from Sonic Adventure 2. It's just, I don't know. The more I look at cyberspace, the more lazy it appears to me. Like, it's fun only because they're using level layouts from previous games. But besides that, it's like, yo, Green Hill for the 5th, 6th, 7th time? You gotta be kidding me. Like, I hope this is the last official Sonic game where we see rehashed stages, because I think after this, I will completely have been tapped out from Green Hill. Like, seriously. And the fact that some Sonic fans want cyberspace to be like a recurring theme for future Sonic games with more rehashed stages, it's like, no, I don't want Sega to keep on doing this, for real. But yeah, also I noticed that a Guardian, you know, the first Guardian you fight against in Sonic Frontiers, she used to be called Ninja, but now she's called Shinobi. So it's like, okay, did Sega change the name from ninjas to Shinobis? Or is that just the name that, you know, the robot is called, or the Guardian is called by the time you reach Chaos Island? Who knows? Also, another thing, I don't really care about this one, to be honest. This is something that Fermi to Remy would care about more. Looks like Sonic Frontiers will be 60 frames on all platforms, except the Nintendo Switch, which will only be 30 frames. I'm getting it on the Nintendo Switch first, and then later I'll get it on PlayStation 5 when I get a PS5. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom could make good use of Sonic Frontiers' Titanic bosses, which means that the creators of Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are getting inspired by Sonic Frontiers, not the other way around, which is surprising. So yeah, I think it's really cool how other companies are even considering using Sonic Frontiers as an inspiration to build on their games or sequels. And make no mistake, Sonic Frontiers comes out and it's a success, Nintendo's definitely going to learn from it for the Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. And that's going to be cool. The fact that Sonic Frontiers is actually going to be an impact in the gaming industry. When was the last time a Sonic game has made an impact in modern gaming? I'm not including Sonic Mania because that was a throwback game. It's supposed to be a spiritual successor to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the Holy Grail, but I'm talking about modern 3D. So I'm looking forward to this game. Sure, it's not without its faults, as the IGN, guy mentioned. It definitely has some faults, some criticism, especially the rehashed cyberspace stages. But apart from that, there's a lot of good in this, and the fact that I'm excited to play this is making me excited and I want to learn more. That's a huge compliment for a 3D Sonic game. So what do you guys think about all this? Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think about the gameplays of the islands? Which island do you think is going to be your favorite to play out of the 3 islands we've seen so far? Also, the cyberspace stages, what type of level themes are you looking forward to the most? The adventure level themes or the boost level themes? Well, alright, that's all I have for now, but we're going to get a lot more, so stay tuned to this channel. Hit that subscribe button and that bell so you don't miss a single video, because I'm going to be updating y'all as much as I can. But that's all I have for now, so take care, and until next time, I'm out.